Terminator 2D, no fate. Hey there guys, hope all is jiggy. Now, like the rest of us, the developers at Bitmap Bureau loved Terminator 2 when it came out back in 1991, but they were also burned by all of the terrible games that cashed in on the name Terminator 2. So today in 2025, they decided to make the T2 game they wanted to play back in the early 90s, full of retro pixelated aesthetics and gameplay mechanics. A commendable concept indeed, one that I deeply appreciate considering that Terminator 2 is in my top 3 favorite films of all time. In fact, it might be my all-time favorite. I'm unsure right now. Either way, I couldn't wait for this game, and now that I've played it, I can say I had a lot of fun with it. But it also disappointed me, not just with its adaptation choices, but even on its own terms. There are many problems here. Let's get into it. Just a quick heads up, I will be talking heavy spoilers in this review, but that shouldn't be a problem. If you've seen the film, you know what to expect from the game, and if you haven't seen the film, you have no reason to play it, nor watch this review. So yeah, whatever, you've been warned. Getting the obvious out of the way, the retro presentation is all kinds of awesome. It took me right back to the 90s, baby. The pixelated animations look both smooth and clunky in all the right places, the environments are nice and detailed, and all of the levels and enemies look completely dissimilar from each other. The music is great too. The retro remixes of familiar tunes felt wonderfully nostalgic, and the original songs got me juiced. The only downside to the presentation is that all of the characters look like the actors who played them, except for Arnie. I guess they didn't have the likeness rights. Other than that,
this is great stuff.
But gameplay-wise, I have to admit, the first hour of my playtime annoyed me. Look, we all knew that Bitmap Bureau would have to add their own original content and retcon parts of the film. That's fine. So I wasn't too fussed by how stupid the first lot of levels were. Bandits come along and kidnap John Connor, and Sarah has to murder them and fight a big boss who looks like Jesse Ventura's character in Predator, and showing how Sarah got arrested after destroying this big machine. It's all dumb, and I'm not playing a T2 game for stuff like this. It's clear it was all just put here to artificially lengthen the game. But I understood why it was here, so I accepted it. But still, the problem remained that the interesting shooting mechanics that come later on, like taking cover and using people as shields, isn't here yet, so it's just a basic shooter that barely resembles Terminator. But I powered through, only to get really crushed. I died and lost all of my continues, and then I was sent back to the beginning of the entire story. I thought that was because I was on the hardest difficulty, but it was the same for the normal difficulty. The only way to avoid this is to play on the easiest difficulty. Now, yes, I get it. I was born in 1991, so I know that plenty of games back then made you start from the beginning if you died a lot. So I get what this game was going for. But we all hated that back in the day, so I still hate it now, for a number of reasons. 1. Some games from the early 90s had save features, so why this game couldn't mimic them is beyond me. 2. When selecting the higher difficulties, there's no warning of this. 3. I was uninterested in the first load of levels on my first playthrough, so having to slog through them again and again made me sick of them. 4. The game wants to feel like it came out back in the early 90s, yet it has content that would never have been there had it come out back then, like swearing and a 10-year-old boy getting stabbed. They'll modernize it with content like that, but not add a save feature? If they really wanted to give us a pure early 90s feel, they should have given this to us as an option, not force it on us. So already in the intro, this game bit me in the balls. But after I powered through, the game blew me away. The future war sequences are exactly what I wanted. They're exciting, full of chaos, great challenges, fun weapons, and the aesthetics earn the name Terminator. best of all, we get a slew of great bosses, these huge hulking Skynet machines that were just a feast for the eyes. This should have been how the game began. This belongs in a Terminator game. I wanted a lot more of this future stuff. But from there, the adaptation choices became a mixed bag for me. We're here to play a 2D version of the movie's iconic scenes. Well, some of them are brilliant, some of them are a bit disappointing, some of them are missing. Let's start with the good. Playing the bar scene as a nude Terminator is as fun as it is hilarious. Most T2 games avoided showing him naked, so this is ballsy.
Got him!
Melee attacks naturally don't hurt you, but they do knock off some time on your time limit, which is a cool mechanic. However, shotgun blasts do lower your health, which makes sense. Oh, and trust me, punch the jukebox, thank me later. And the mental institution level is one of the best. The simple stealth mechanics work, and having to hide from a T-1000, never knowing where he's gonna turn up. So intense. This was the first and only time I ever played a game that made me nervous around the T-1000. It's a treat. I also enjoyed the Cyberdyne Systems level. It may be silly how Sarah's just mowing down police officers, and she's supposed to be a good guy. But it's a fun level with great mechanics. What a lot of people won't know is that this level is incredibly similar to the Cyberdyne Systems level in the T2 game on the original NES. That was the game I played when I was 3-4 years old. It was the game that introduced me to Terminator, so this pleased me. But it was more than just nostalgia, of course. This level is a better version of the old one, so well done to Bitmap Bureau. But on the disappointing side, the vehicle sections are just okay. I think your vehicle is way too close to the screen. I wish there was more road on screen, freeing you to make choices like go up ramps and stuff. Simply following on-screen prompts telling you what to do wasn't what I was hoping for. But the biggest crime is that plenty of iconic moments are entirely absent. And the main reason why is because, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, on the first playthrough, we only get to play as the Terminator twice in the whole story. Twice. When he's naked in the bar and briefly on the bike. That is it.
Well, that sucks.
Now, Sarah Connor might be my favorite character in movie history, so I'm not complaining about playing as her. But come on, who's more suited for a Terminator action game, Sarah or the Terminator? Exactly. So many of his famous scenes are missing. The hallway fight scene, the T-1000 running after John on the bike. Okay, the Terminator wasn't involved in that part, but still it should have been here. The elevator scene, the T-1000 running after them in the police car, the minigun scene, the hallway shootout, the liquid nitrogen truck chase.
Yeah, try saying that 3 times as fast.
Climbing on the truck, the steel mill fight scene. They're all missing. I mean, the steel mill should have been an explosive crescendo fighting the T-1000. But it's mostly just avoiding steam and occasionally dealing with the T-1000 easily. It would have been so much more intense if you had to hide from the T-1000 like you did in the mental asylum, but no, it's just this. At one point in the background, you see the T-1000 and Terminator fight. It looks incredible, but it's such a tease. I was like, that's the game I want to play. I mean, it's so crazy that you barely ever fight the T-1000, the main antagonist of the film. Wow. Now, on repeat playthroughs, you actually get to change the story with multiple choice sections. It doesn't make a huge load of difference, but it is interesting. Choosing to kill Dyson as Sarah will effectively make her a Terminator, so it's fitting that the optional next level will be you escaping the police station by shooting it up, just like the Terminator did in the first film. And if you pick a certain path, you actually get to play as the Terminator with a minigun. and then you get to quickly recreate the minigun scene. That is cool. But the fact that the only way to play an iconic scene from the movie is by changing the movie's story is utterly insane to me. After the game is over, there's a load of unlockable minigames and stuff, so there's plenty to keep you going once the game is over. But me, I wasn't really too interested. I was only playing this for the movie stuff, but I'm still glad it's there. So, in the end, Terminator 2D No Fate is not only the best Terminator 2 game, it's one of the best overall Terminator games. It had far more love and care put into it than the army of cheap cash grabs out there that burned us in the past. The graphics, music, and overall presentation almost brought a tear to my eye. The shooting mechanics can be real fun, and the beat 'em up and stealth levels are brilliant. I wish they lasted longer. But some of the levels just weren't that fun, and the lack of a level select or save feature really hurt the experience. And why so many scenes were cut for the film, I have no idea. And this isn't me being a toxic fanboy, this was sold to us as a 2D version of the film. So I was right to expect more recreations of famous scenes. Instead, they were cut and substituted with a load of original content that artificially lengthens the story. Although the future war stuff was more than welcome. It's a real mixed bag, but it is a fun one. I hope an update will come out one day and upgrade this package, but for now, in its current state, I'm gonna give Terminator 2D No Fate a 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay jiggy. The Badger appreciates ya.